hope that it's one of your favorites. Here he is singing Blues in the Night. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Stafford. Joe Stafford.
And he does, and it's caught! Touchdown! Chris Matthews! How crazy.
With the first pick in the 2009 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Joe Stafford, quarterback, Georgia.
Good kick up into the air. It is loose and recovered by Seattle. Chris Matthews.
So let's get started.
Agency frenzy here at Stafford and Matthews, episode 24, 25, something like that. We got a lot on the log right now. Anyways, missed last week. Sorry about that, but a jam-packed episode for our audience right now. As always, Joe Stafford, Chris Matthews, and Kev. There's a reason why I sound kind of shaky right now. I've been feeling super sick. I really hope I don't have COVID because that would be a major bummer going into the next weekend. I had a ripper though. It was a lot of fun. But I didn't really see too much this weekend. Had a lot of interesting experiences this weekend. But I'm ready to talk football. I am ready to talk football. And what better way to start than with my New England Patriots, who went absolutely bananas today on the transaction log. Bananas. Signing, I think, 6 or 7 guys and re-signing 2 of those guys on the roster as well. Most notable, Chris's guy from his time in Baltimore, Matthew Judon. 4-year. 56 mil. That is a lot of cash, to say the very least. A lot of cash. Another interesting signing, Kendrick Bourne from also Chris's favorite team, the San Francisco 49ers, who signs a 3-year deal, I believe at $22 million. They weren't done there. Nelson Aguilar, No Hands Aguilar, athlete playing receiver Nelson Aguilar. I think it was a 2-year contract, Kev, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway.
2 years, yep, 26 mil.
2-year, 26 mil. Not sure if I love that. We'll go down the list first. I'll kind of break down whether or not I like these moves or not. But anyway, keep going on here. We lost Joe Thuney to Kansas City. That sucks for pretty much the league in general. But I also think for the Patriots, yeah, we traded for Trent Brown. We don't really need him that much anymore, but he'll be solely missed. Not even just in terms of his playing ability, but leadership in the locker room. No better guy to have in your corner than Joe Thuney. So we will miss him. Good luck in Kansas City. I don't think you really need any luck. You're protecting the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, what can go wrong at that point? Actually, check the last Super Bowl. That can go wrong anyway. But regardless, it's okay. Next signing, Jonnu Smith was the first signing I actually saw today, period. Point blank period. I think it was 4-year, $50 million, 31 guaranteed, which I love the move. Keep going down the list here. I believe
that's the best signing of in my books for him.
I think so too, and considering obviously the Gronk factor, they know how to use tight ends, Hernandez factor. They've been known to incorporate great tight end sets. Last year, they had literally no one. Ryan Izzo was our starter for like half the season. Devin Asiasi, whatever the hell his name is, the rookie, didn't pan out. Dalton Keene was injured almost the entire season with a neck injury. It was a messy position group, almost as worse as receiver, but not quite as bad. And now you bring in Jonnu Smith, and pretty much solves all your problems. Cam Newton's favorite target in Carolina was Greg Olsen, and now it's going to be Jonnu Smith in New England. Assuming he starts, not Jonnu Smith, Cam Newton. Assuming he starts. We don't really know the grand plan yet. It's early in free agency, not even the draft yet or whatever. So we're not really sure about that yet, but it's probably a safe bet to say Cam will take some snaps starting this year at the very least. Did I miss anybody for the Patriots?
I mean, if you're talking about a guy like Cam Newton who gets re-signed for not the veteran minimum, but $14 million, he better be starting. He better be starting for me. Like, seriously, we signed you the first year and we only gave you $1 million. Why was it 1.2, 1.3 or something like that? Just to see what you do. You have a terrible year, but you have coaches who loves his work ethic, how he approaches the game, all of the above. And you turn around and you give him not only a healthy contract, but you're giving him a healthy off season. time to spend time with around his players and his teammates and all of this, and bringing people along like Jonnu Smith, man, he better be starting for me. I kid you not. If the Patriots do not start him, you guys are going to have a problem because it's not going to look good. Yeah, I mean, Stidham, I know you guys are like raving high about Stidham, and he's not even a factor anymore. So I don't know who else are you going to go out there and get. There's not really anybody they can get that's going to be able to compete with Cam Newton at their draft status.
Chris, Taysom Hill got $140 million this year. Anything's possible. Literally anything's possible. If Taysom Hill gets $140 million at any point, I know it's voidable. I know it's a lot of different ways to get out of it and everything. And it's actually a move to save them money. You still have a pen to paper and sign Taysom Hill for $140 million. So don't tell me that this is not possible, because it very is. Because if Taysom Hill's getting that kind of money for being a below average tight end and an average quarterback, yeah.
That's 2 and 1 though. That's 2. Actually, it's 3 and 1. He could be a tight end. He could be a quarterback and a running back. That's 3 and 1 right there. I say that he's doing pretty good for himself.
Jack of all trades, master of none gets $140 million. Blows my mind. I know you'll do it. I need some money now. I need to get some cash. But anyway, last one I forgot to say for the Patriots: Jalen Mills, former Eagles secondary member, corner and safety last year. 4-year, $24 million. That was a good move. It's kind of replaced Terrence Brooks as that hybrid safety linebacker, corner, whatever the fuck you want to call it, type of role in New England. Good deal. Not bad money at all. And he actually played pretty well last season, so I like that as well. All right, those are all the signings for our Patriots. 6 of them. And we also re-signed Dietrich Wise, had another couple, flirtatious invites with Curtis Samuel as well. He hasn't signed yet officially. There's actually a false report about 5 minutes ago that he actually signed with the Jaguars. That is not confirmed as of 8:31 on Monday afternoon or night or whatever. So keep that in mind if that actually comes to be true afterwards. Sorry, but we're recording it before that even happens. So don't blame us for that. Before we move on to anyone else, I want to talk about these moves and whether I approve of them or not. Matthew Judon, starting off the day, probably the highlight of the day besides Jonnu Smith. 4-year, $56 million. That makes him the highest paid defensive player in franchise history.
Deserves it.
We've had Ty Law, Willie McGinnis, Darrelle Revis, Dante Hightower, Devin McCourty, Rodney Harrison. The list goes on, and Vince Wolf. The list goes on and on and on. And Matthew Judon made $56 million. I'm not saying he's not a good player. 2-time Pro Bowler in consecutive years, back-to-back. He's a good player. Great pressure guy, comparable to Clowney when it comes to like not having the great sack numbers, but having a crazy amount of pressures. Yeah, I get it. He affects the game at a great level and makes quarterbacks hurried and scared. I like that part of it. I don't like the fact he's never had a 10-sack season, and he gave $56 million. That's where I kind of have an issue with it. I think he's a good value player. I think he's a good pass rusher. I think the money's a little bit too much, and I think Belichick kind of is going out of character here because Belichick, the past 3-4 seasons, has made it clear if you can't play an all-around role on the edge, you will not be starting. Chase Winovich has shown us all the playmaking ability in the world off the edge as a pass rusher. He was in the doghouse almost the entire year last year, not only for his comments regarding the Patriots on radio and all that kind of stuff, but he can't hold the edge running, and he allows quarterbacks to get outside the pocket by over-pursuing off the edge. Mm-hmm. That's where we might run into a situation with Matthew Judon, who also has had some issues, with coaching in the past as well. Not overt anything crazy. Like he's behaved himself very, very well. But there has been situations where there's been some talks about him not being a team player, etc. I just wonder how that's going to, blend with a Belichickian type philosophy. And I do wonder what that's going to work out for them in the long term. Like I said, I like the move. I just don't love the money, and the fit's a little bit questionable in my mind right now. Mm-hmm. That's for me.
Yeah, I mean, I hear it. I don't know what people are talking about of him not being a good team player or locker room guy who's not coachable. When he was out there with Dean Pease, he was soaking up as much information as he can. Him with Terrell and everybody else that was out there in the front lines with him, and he excelled. I mean, if you think about it, he came from the Ravens. And that's no joke to come out as one of the top guys from the Ravens when we all know that the Ravens are notoriously known for great defensive players. And now they let one slip through their fingers, and luckily he landed in you guys' lap. I think that I think that they did a great job with signing him, giving him a chance. Overall, I just think that he is a all around backer. I mean, edge rusher and linebacker. To be honest with you, the defense, like I said, the defense that he was running with Dean Pease, it had him in various places out there. So not every time that he was able to just, pin his ears back and go after the quarterback or anything like that. There's a lot of times he was, out there in coverage. But you got to think that, last year, a couple of key defenders sat down, opted out of playing that year. And we don't know if they've been working out or are they going to have the same step as, as they did once they, before they left. And all of those are valid questions that the Patriots should have about a couple of their defensive players, and just wanted to shore up some things on their end.
No, that's a fair enough point, but make myself clear before we get into murky waters here, not dissing Judon, what I was referring to was the fight he got ejected from in last season's game, where he got hit a ref and everything, and then he had a whole thing with the coaching staff afterwards on the sideline. That's what I'm referring to.
Hey, don't put sheep in front of lions. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, fair enough. And obviously obviously you're friends with me, have first-hand knowledge of the situation and everything as well. I'm just going off of what other people have said in the media about
Yeah.
That's just where I'm coming from in general.
Absolutely.
No disrespect at all.
No.
Yeah. Johnny Smith deal. Love it. Bar none, love it. There's no downside to this. You paid him decent money. Yeah, a little bit on the high side, but you traditionally have paid tight ends pretty, wealthily. Historically, Gronk and Hernandez are the last two examples, and you paid them big money. And it worked out pretty well for the last two. I mean, obviously when Hernandez was still on the team. Regardless, Johnny Smith, great fit, athletic, speedy, agile, can still block a little bit. I think it's a home run hit. Like I said earlier, Greg Olsen was Cam Newton's favorite target in Carolina. You bring Johnny Smith in, makes the transition a hell of a lot easier when it talks about, bringing different pieces, you bring in Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. It's going to be a difficult transition to see how he gels with those type of weapons. But for a fact, him, Johnny Smith will be fine. Will be airtight and in terms of chemistry when it comes to the season starting. So that's what I'm very confident in going into the next year.
Yeah, and I hear you. I feel the same way. Hopefully it works out with him.
For sure. Nelson Aguilar, great. It was a good value pick. Okay, 2 year 26, not really giving a ton of money up, and there's not a lot of money guaranteed in that. So that low risk, high reward. I like that. The player himself, not a huge fan. I'm really not a huge fan. And Philadelphia is the reason why he got cut or traded or whatever the hell he got off the roster for, because he really can't catch. He doesn't have natural hands. He never has had natural hands. At USC, he was an athlete playing receiver, and that's continued into the NFL. He's not a true receiver. He's an athlete playing the position of wide receiver. And that's been clear as day to me since he stepped his foot in the league. Yes, he's fast, stretch the field. I like that aspect of it. And maybe that's kind of signaling Damiere Byrd's on his way out of New England as well. I like to keep Byrd, but with Aguilar signing, kind of makes sense for him to be let go a little bit. When it comes to terms of his ability to gel with Bill Belichick's system, couple issues. One, John Gruden was his head coach last year, and he had the audacity to call all of his coaching and players out in the locker room, said, and I quote, "You all suck," left the locker room, never came back, and it's the reason why he didn't resign this offseason. That's a problem. That won't be tolerated in Bill Belichick. And I'm surprised in a John Gruden-led locker room, he doesn't really fuck around. He has his stuff straight, ready to go. He's always comes correct. So I'm shocked it happened in John Gruden's locker room. Will it happen in Bill Belichick's locker room? I know for a fact he'll be cut the next day. So I wonder if he'll be able to test his ability or maybe test Belichick's ability to handle these kind of bigger than life personalities. They don't really have the ability to back it up either. I don't know why Aguilar's talking shit. He hasn't been that good. He's had one decent year, and it was last year. And then after he did that, he made a big scene and got tossed out of the locker room. So, there's a lot of different aspects to dissect with Aguilar, not only on the playing field ability, but off the field, in the locker room, as a leader with a lot of young talent at the receiver position. So I'm kind of hesitant with that. I like the value. I don't love the player.
Yeah, I hear you on that. That makes sense to me. I'm actually on board with you on everything that you said. I can't speak on, what, how his attitude is towards teammates or players, is besides what has came out that we already know. But I mean, this is Belichick's MO. He takes guys that nobody necessarily really wants, and he brings them over there, shows him his way, and obviously his way has been is a proving winning method. So people are just going to naturally come on board, thinking in their head, just like I think about Bill Belichick, that this is a tough, hard nosed organization and coaching staff, and if you mess up, you're out of here. I'm pretty sure that that's what a lot of other people think about when they're headed towards or potentially going to New England. But as Cam has reiterated before, and time and time again, that there's this huge misconception that Belichick is just this bad person, or he's like by the book. But he seems like he's a great guy, and everybody that he's brought on has pretty much worked out, and they've had or had a great relationship. So I don't really care too much about if he thinks people are weak or whatnot. I mean, that's kind of a bold statement. Yeah, like you said, he hasn't shown anybody the reason. I mean, shown anybody the level of confidence that he has in himself on the field by catching the ball or anything like that. But nonetheless, I've watched this guy make a lot of great catches and a lot of average catches and making them great.
That's fair enough. I mean, I understand what you're trying to say, and there's a lot of upside value with him. But I just do think it's upside value in terms of potential. We haven't seen him excel in an NFL uniform yet. He had 800 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. Not a bad stat line, but he hasn't come to 1,000 yards once. He hasn't come close. Last year was the first time he even sniffed it. Mm-hmm. And that was with a really great system and a really great, single year for the kid with a pretty talented core around him. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see for Nelson Aguilar, but I'm not really sold on him yet.
To me, it just sounds like they're probably just going to end up bringing somebody else in as well, or maybe draft somebody.
I wanted Curtis Samuel really badly, or Corey Davis. Samuel's on the market still. I'm not really sure if he's going to sign anywhere today before we end the recording or anything. And then Corey Davis went to the Jets. Talk about that later. Sucks. Trevor's happy. I'm pissed. I'm not very happy with that.
Yeah, Corey Davis would have been a great pickup for you.
Would have been a great pickup. Other guys that Patriots signed to get into a little bit. Kendrick Bourne. I'll be the first one to say this. I have no clue who this guy is. Haven't studied this film. I've never seen his highlights. I don't know how he plays. Looks like a slot guy to me. He looks kind of skinny. Doesn't look like he's a speedster or anything. I don't really know who he is, so I really can't comment on him. I'm excited that we brought a receiver in. I'll tell you that. And his stat line wasn't terrible. I looked at his stat line a couple hours ago. Wasn't bad at all. I'm intrigued by it. I don't really know how to comment on him, though, because I've never seen him play.
Yeah, either. I'm right there with you. I don't know. Hopefully he works out, though, so we'll see. But in my case, I hope he does it. I hope they don't. I hope you guys just get this great signings and everything looks good on paper, and you actually have a great off season and get to the first game and get waxed, and then we'll see what's going on. That's what I want to see.
You're such a hater for no reason. You're such a hater. It's ridiculous. Anyway, other moves in the offseason we want to talk about. First day of the offseason, legal tampering day one. Patriots are obviously named winners of the day, signed 7 or 8 guys, ridiculous, and tossed around more money than I've ever seen in my lifetime. They spent a little under $400 million the last decade in offseason acquisitions. They spent over $100 million today. That's insanity. They want to load up quickly, and I like the aggressiveness. For once, it's so nice to actually have news pop up on my phone where it's free agency. It's actually the Patriots doing something. We never see this, ever. It's so nice to see. It's so nice to see. Anyway, other moves we're seeing right now. Literally came in 5 minutes ago. Bud Dupree has signed with the Tennessee Titans. Great move, and I'm presuming the Jadeveon Clowney replacement. Great off-the-edge rusher. Had another breakout year last year. Was drafted in the first round, I'm not mistaken, in 2015, something like that. Has had a solid career, nothing crazy, but last year, contract year, balled out like most people do. I'm intrigued to see if Mike Vrabel keeps it going in Tennessee. But yeah, I think it's a solid move. Replaces Clowney. I think you don't have to deal with that locker room terror anymore. I think Bud's a solid guy to bring in. Never really had any issues off the field. I think he's a solid guy to bring in. I think he'll be good for this Tennessee Titans team.
Absolutely. Bud Dupree is a great athlete. Also a great wildcat. alumni. He's been a great player since he's stepped on the field, man. I'm glad he got to a place where they can utilize him in the way he wants to be used and have some security behind him.
No, for sure, 100%. Other moves here. Like I said earlier, Corey Davis going to the New York Football Jets. 3 years. Yeah, I know. 3 years, $37.5 million, $27 million of that is guaranteed. No matter what, the Jets need talent. Bottom line, no matter who they draft in the draft, whether it be a quarterback, a tackle, whatever, you need to surround whoever the next guy is with receiving talent. Corey Davis is just that, a talent. Kind of got overshadowed a little bit in Tennessee with the emergence of A.J. Brown, but he is a red zone monster. 50-50 ball guy, can go up and snatch things away from any kind of cornerback you have on your team. Deceptively fast, smart guy, solid route runner, good blocker too. All around great sign for the Jets, and I'm intrigued to see how they utilize him in this new offense.
Yeah, man, I'm actually super excited to see what he does. You know, I'm not going to spend too much on it. I just want to sit back and enjoy this time and see how he plays into this big market. You know, it's something that he's new to. He's not necessarily, he hasn't been around too much of a big market area. So it's just, it would be interesting to see if he sticks with it.
For sure. And I'm intrigued to see if he wants to get out of that contract earlier than expected because, yeah, it's good money, but it's the New York Jets. So I wouldn't really put anything past that kind of contract negotiation.
Exactly.
Next move we're going to talk about that's kind of big. Carlos Hyde, not really huge, 2 years, $6 million. Was one of my favorite players a long time ago. Solid running back, leaves Houston to go to Jacksonville. Nice little piece for Trevor Lawrence to work with in the backfield along with James Robinson. Just kind of noteworthy to kind of point out there a little bit. But yeah. Anyway, next move. Philip Dorsett, also going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Details are not released just yet. Solid piece again. Nice slot guy to pair with some of the guys down there like DJ Chark, Keelan Cole. I think it's probably a solid option. A nice speed guy to stretch the field for Trevor Lawrence when he gets finally down to Duval in April. So yeah, another solid piece to move a little bit.
He's gonna have so many people to throw the ball to out there.
Laviska Shenault as well, the rookie from last year, balled out towards the end of last year as well. He'll be a solid piece for him as well. I'm excited to see what Lawrence can do with this team down in Jacksonville. Another move, John Johnson III, leaving the LA Rams and joining the Cleveland Browns. BC High stand up, Boston College stand up. Awesome to see a fellow Eagle step in to the limelight with a big bag of money. The Browns gave him 3 years. I believe the contract was, how much was the contract, Kev?
33.75.
Okay. That's a lot of money for a safety, and I think it's a pretty good move, too. You needed some veteran leadership in the defensive backfield for Cleveland. Denzel Ward's a great young piece to have at cornerback. I think he'll be a star in the NFL someday. Great man coverage guy, can play his own a little bit, too. But there's no leadership in the back end. You need someone like Johnson, who's been on a winning football team, has been in the playoffs multiple times, to help guide and facilitate the talent development of some of these younger guys, defensive backs specifically in Cleveland. I think it's a home run move, great move for the Cleveland Browns organization. I'm excited to see how he fits in this defense.
Yeah, I think it's going to work well for the Cleveland Browns. I personally, I mean, it's just certain teams that I just feel like after a while, there's just certain teams that I just would stay away from, especially if I'm trying to win a championship. I mean, a Super Bowl. There's other places, but this definitely to me looks like a money grab. But I mean, hey, you're still playing the game that you love. You're making money that that you're making, and you're not in a bad conference. You're not in a bad conference. This is a challenging one to show your skills and see, and see if you're really that, worth every penny that they paid you.
That's a good point. I mean, competition.
I wouldn't just be going down to Cleveland like, hey, where's LeBron?
No, I got you.
LA.
But to that point, iron sharpens iron. It's a competitive division. It brings the best out of all of them. That's a scrappy, notoriously scrappy division. They have rivalries among each of the 4 teams. And yeah, obviously every division has rivalries between every 4 teams. You play them twice a year. But the AFC North is a little bit grittier than all of those combined. There's a deep history with all the teams there. A lot of, shit talking involved. Obviously, you play that division as well. And a lot of hatred, like legitimate hatred for each franchise. So I'm intrigued to see how Jonathan brings his LA energy kind of to this very competitive, very gritty Cleveland Browns team. All right, next move. Yannick Ngakoue. Chris, remember last week you pronounced his name? That was the funniest thing on this podcast ever. Yannick Ngakoue signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. 2 years, $26 million. He's had a kind of an up and down career. Had a great year in Jacksonville when they went to the AFC Championship game. Had kind of a weird year in Minnesota. Wasn't really sold on him being the next, Everson Griffin for that team. Turns out he wasn't. Goes to the desert with Vegas. And I don't really know what to think about this move. I really don't. I mean, the Raiders have a solid team overall, not really elite on both offense or defense or special teams. They're kind of a middle of the pack team right now. I'm not sure what this move does for you. It makes you better, but does it give you over the hump? No, I don't think so. And I don't think the deal reflects that either. I mean, it's a pretty decent value for an edge rusher. 2 years, $26 million. Not going to break your bank. Not going to break your salary cap or anything. Solid move. We'll get you 8 to 10 sacks next year. Solid move, but nothing crazy. It's going to elevate their status for next year.
Yeah, no, you're right. I just think this is a piece that they needed to fill in to shore up a couple spots over there. Especially them having a couple injuries last year on the defensive side. So it's just something to shore things up. I mean, just for me, be honest with you, I don't know we're not talking about them right now. We're talking about the Raiders, but I don't understand what the Ravens are doing right now. These are two key guys that you could definitely keep on your team. Like, I know that they're known for they like to be known for their leadership and having legitimate guys, Hall of Famers, help navigate the waters for the younger guys. And these are two guys who have been there, done that, and they're just getting them out of there, just flying them off. So what are we really doing? Are we saving up money for Lamar or what? Or are you going to bring in some more talent? Even though we've had there's been reports of them not actually really interested in looking for another receiver for Lamar to throw to, which is crazy to me. But what are you saving the money for? That's my question. What are you saving the money for?
That's a fair point. I mean, the Ravens have
a little early, but still, I kind of want to see something to help the favor of the one side that needs the most help with all the amazing talent around it, and it's the offense.
Fair enough. Maybe they're gearing up for a trade. I mean, I've heard some rumors lately about Odell Beckham Jr. Maybe one being traded interconference, maybe interdivision, goes to Baltimore and has a great comparison with Lamar Jackson. I'm intrigued by that option, but I think it's a good point. They haven't been active at all day one of free agency. They've been timid. They have not been aggressive in any way, shape, or form. It's a good point. On your salary cap note a little bit here, on your where's the money type note you just talked about here. Talk about one thing here. The LA Rams let John Johnson go, which I think it's a mistake. I like him a lot, but I looked at the salary cap, I'm like, they don't have a lot of money to give out right now. They're significantly under the salary cap. It's not a good look to re-sign him for that much money. I thought, okay, that's fine. But then after the John Johnson news broke, I get this notification that the Rams are re-signing Leonard Floyd to a 4-year, $64 million deal. How do you have the money for Leonard Floyd, but not for John Johnson III? That makes no sense to me at all. I mean, at least in my opinion, I think John Johnson's been a solid, solidified safety, borderline Pro Bowl safety for the last 3 years. And Floyd just had his first good season ever. He was drafted in Chicago pretty high, didn't work out, flamed out, went to LA, had a decent season. But you don't need pass rush so much as you need back-end defense. Ramsey, lockdown corner, lock it up. But Johnson plays at 2 levels of defense, linebacker and safety. You need a guy like that to solidify your back end. And you sign Leonard Floyd for the money. I don't get that move at all.
I'm right there with you. It's blowing my mind, but it just shows me that this is just the beginning. It's showing me that there's going to be a lot of changes, which, like I said before, there's going to be probably a good 1 or 2 more big splashes is going to go on, and things are just going to keep on moving on throughout the NFL as this time goes on. But that's what all this looks like to me. It's just a bunch of let's square away a couple smaller pieces and then really hop in for the big fish.
No, it very well could be.
Which when I say that, we do and when I say we, I'm talking about the 49ers, have $30 million of free cap space. So if we just wanted to grab a quarterback, there's only one that's only logical for us. And I don't know if you want me to say his name or not, but Watson Deshaun, is that his name? Could potentially coming over.
Chris, you have a quarterback. His name's Kyle Shanahan. You don't need to pay Deshaun Watson $100 million. It's not. I hate that rumor. I've always hated that rumor. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense to me.
It makes no sense to you because you don't want it to happen. But if it happens, you know it's a wrap. It's a wrap for teams.
Whatever. I'm not getting this again. We talked about this so many fucking times in this podcast. I'm not getting back into it.
Jimmy Garoppolo's QBR rating for passes under 10 yards was like 79%. Past 10 yards, it drops down to like 50 something. We're talking about Deshaun Watson, a guy who's excelled at throwing short, intermediate passes and deep balls. We're trying to open it up, baby. I'm trying to show y'all the vision. You know what I'm saying? But you guys got those little things on. What are those called? The blinders that you put on the horses. That's what you guys got. Open your eyes, man.
I'm not saying Deshaun Watson isn't good at football. I'm saying he's not a good fit.
No. What you're saying is that he's not going to be good going to the 49ers, which is totally false.
I'm saying that it wouldn't make sense for him to pay another quarterback $100 million because they don't thrive off that. They run the goddamn football. They set up play action through running the ball.
And then you pick up a quarterback who can run.
If you're trading for Deshaun Watson, you are throwing everything you have at him. Pass-heavy offense. Shannon's not, but my point is, Chris, Shannon's not going to shift his entire offense for Deshaun Watson. That doesn't make any sense. Kyle Shanahan prides himself on being a strategist. He prides himself on being the system type of guy. The system runs through him, not through a quarterback.
Bill Belichick 2.0, yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to pay him that much. That's just something.
And I understand that. I understand everything that you're saying. I'm not going against none of that because it's facts, what you're saying. What I'm saying is just bring these down. Start looking around. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense in your head. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that happens in the NFL where people are just not paying attention or they think less of of a team, like because they're not making as many moves. And next thing you know, they come out on top of the free agency or draft winners. So that's how I see this whole thing. It's a couple teams that I've been wondering why they're so quiet, but it could possibly be they're making actual moves, but who knows? We'll find out.
It could be. Also, I want to throw this out there before I forget. I have a trade idea, and I think it's a really good trade idea. I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Russell to New Orleans.
No.
Oh.
Not bad move, but yeah. Hear me out. Stephon Gilmore is on his way out of New England.
Yeah.
I think we traded already by today. I'm surprised he's still on the roster. I think you probably brought in Jalen Mills to solidify your secondary before you said bye-bye to Stephon Gilmore. Mm-hmm. I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that he's going to be out of here, out of New England before the offseason is over. Mm-hmm. How's this sound? Who says no? Stephon Gilmore for Odell Beckham Jr. Who says no in that trade? I'm hearing crickets because no one's saying no to that trade. Nobody. Yeah. The Cleveland Browns are better without Odell Beckham Jr. It's in the numbers. It's in the stats, and it's in the freaking win column. When Odell's out there, they force the ball to him, and it makes the offense non-congruent and it doesn't flow well. With Jarvis Landry's the number one with a bunch of different weapons mixed in here and there, it works a lot better. Mm-hmm. Odell's been injured a lot the last couple seasons. Mm-hmm. Stephon Gilmore, on the other hand, has been injured only once in the last 3 years. He's also been an all-pro cornerback 2 of those 3 years. Mm-hmm. The Cleveland Browns need a guy to mentor Denzel Ward. Outside John Johnson, they just brought in. You bring in Stephon Gilmore, have a great 1-2 punch man coverage in Cleveland, and it solidifies you for your potential deep playoff run. Mm-hmm. Bill Belichick's all about putting around weapons around Cam Newton right now, or putting weapons around his future quarterback. What better weapon to bring around than Odell Beckham Jr.? Now your receiving core is looking like Odell Beckham Jr., Jonnu Smith, Julian Edelman, James White, if he resigns, that's big if he resigns or anything. Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, N'Keal Harry. That's a pretty good start to an already building offseason. I think it can happen. I think it should happen. I think it should make sense for both teams. And I think it's a no-brainer if it ends up being proposed.
I'm sorry, did Cam Newton sign for more than 1 year?
No.
Oh, so how is he your future quarterback if he only signed for 1 year?
No, Cam Newton
shows me that. Here's my thing. I love Cam Newton as an athlete, as a philanthropist with some of his businesses that he has, a man, a uplifting man in his community. I love everything about Cam Newton, but that does absolutely nothing for the Patriots. Right now, they gave him his $14 million. I think that's just because Bill Belichick just likes this guy so much and wants to see him succeed. Here, we'll give you $14 million for 1 year, but this is 1 year. I feel like this is Bill Belichick just bridging the gap until they're able to pick up on another quarterback that's coming out of the draft or who's going to be available in the coming years for him to be able to snag one of them up. One person that I could definitely see going to the Patriots, which I will kind of be on the fence about it, but it would make sense if things would work out and it's his time to be able to come out. But Aaron Rodgers seems like that would be a great place for him to finish out the rest of his career and have a little bit more of a longevity on the team than Cam Newton, who's only getting a 1 year deal there. So to me, I personally feel like this is just something that's going to bridge the gap. Aaron Rodgers is a long shot. I just threw him in there, but it would make sense to see him go.
Aaron Rodgers. Now, I've heard that rumor before, and I've seen like the different player swaps and jersey swaps and everything. Like I understand the allure because obviously he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Do I see it happening? I doubt it. I really do. I mean, Jordan Love's obviously not ready. His training camp was horrible. Preseason wasn't that good either. I don't see it happening. I think Rodgers is on a tear right now. MVP obviously last season. Showed no signs of slowing down. Had obviously a little bit of trouble with the GM and ownership a little bit earlier this offseason with some of his discontent for their ability to put weapons around him. That's probably going to change. They invested already in Aaron Jones and re-signed him as well before the start of free agency. And I'm sure they'll finally draft the receiver. I know we say it every year and it never happens, but I'm hoping at least for once they actually draft the receiver to put around Aaron Rodgers and give a nice 1-2 punch for him in Devontae Adams. I'm hoping it's going to happen. I'm not sure it's going to happen. And it's far from a certainty if that's even a possibility. But I really do hope it finally happens for Aaron Rodgers' sanity's sake. Also breaking news, Jameis Winston resigned. So now they have two quarterbacks on the payroll. $12 million max value on a 1 year deal. So it's incentive-based, obviously. And I think he's definitely the starter in New Orleans. People are going to be like, oh, well, Taysom Hill signed a $140 million contract. Fuck you, all right? Fuck you, buddy. Jameis Winston is the starter. Like, he's an actual quarterback. Taysom Hill's cute. Like, yeah, it's fine. He's a nice gadget guy. But, guys, get real. Jameis Winston was signed in New Orleans to be the heir apparent after Bridgewater left. That's how it works. That's how it should work. And that's how it's going to work. You can even point to Drew Brees' last game in the playoff game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before he left the field. He's crying, talking to Jameis Winston, basically tapping on the shoulder and saying, it's your team now. This was going to happen from the get-go. If you didn't see this coming, you really aren't that bright. That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. That was all true until Russell Wilson came into the picture. Now, Russell Wilson being out there looking for, potential landing spots, and New Orleans being one of them, I could definitely see them getting rid of both of them. Like, hey, we tried, we gave you a little something, but we tried, but you guys got to go. Jameis Winston is just not a guy that I can see getting you over the hump. It's another one of those, like Cam Newton is just to bridge the gap. Hopefully, if we do, then if you do help us out and we get over the hump and get into the playoffs and move up from there, then I could see, some things happening. But as of right now, off of both of their plays, Jameis Winston and Cam Newton, I can just see them as just great bridge gaps to another more favorable player for them in the future.
I think with Cam, you're 100% correct. I would disagree with Jameis Winston. I think they're kind of grooming to be the next franchise guy. Might sound bad, but I really do believe that. It's a gut feeling. I have nothing to back that up on. Gut feelings telling me that they want Jameis to be the solution long-term in New Orleans.
It's just crazy how you can go and talk about other guys who just hasn't been ideal teammates or have had problems with coaching and stuff like that. And coming from a guy like Jameis Winston, who has had trouble even before he gets to the NFL, and now that he's with the New Orleans Saints, he's just going to be this great guy. I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
To each their own. I think there's reason to doubt whether or not he can be that guy long term.
Yeah.
Of course there are.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of believe in the kid. I really do. Get that laser security in his eyes. I kind of believe him.
I'm never somebody who wants to go against somebody getting better. I never want to be that guy. I just, just looking at things.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Next signing. Very important one. Joe Thuney, talked about it a little bit earlier, goes to the Kansas City Chiefs after they cut both their starting tackles who both did not participate in the Super Bowl. Great move. Bottom line, great move. Anytime you move to invest in your most prized asset, that's a W in my book. And Thuney was the best lineman on the market, in my opinion. Biased from a New England fan, I know, but I think overall in a lot of NFL circles, he's very respected as a very reliable option at that guard position. So good on you, Chiefs, for protecting your number one asset. You learned your lesson pretty handily in the Super Bowl by not protecting him. So I'm glad you actually took steps to fix that and reconcile your relationship with their quarterback's health, because that's what pretty much you did just now.
Absolutely. They still need a whole new line, but this is a great start for sure.
Definitely. Breaking news. Literally just came on my phone. Carl Lawson, Cincinnati Bengal, has signed with the New York Jets. 3-year, $45 million, $30 million of which is guaranteed. Also a great move. Need to invest in that pass rush. Very lackluster last year. I can't name a single person on their front four. I can't. Not a single person. Actually, no, I can. What's that kid? No, Leonard Williams on the Giants. Who is that kid that was drafted, the defensive tackle, 3rd overall? He blessed himself in his interview with NFL Network. What's his name?
Oh, is that the
Quinnen Williams?
Quinnen Williams.
Yeah,
I can't name one.
That's silly dude.
Yeah, he's funny as hell. Anyway, when you can't recognize a single name on your defensive front four, you need some help. And Carlos is a good name to get that started. So good move, Jets. I like that a lot.
Absolutely. So there must be something going on over there with the Jets that we don't know nothing about.
It could be. And I'm hearing from a lot of teams that teams have been aggressive, like the Patriots aren't quite done yet in the offseason. They're still looking to make more moves and more aggressive moves as the tempering period moves on here. So I'm excited. It's an exciting start to the offseason. I love free agency every year. It's like Christmas to me, waking up to see all the notifications on my phone, like, oh my God, this guy went there, this guy went there. Change of scenery is always exciting for different players. So I'm intrigued and excited by all these moves, and can always see them actually suit up for their team in 2021.
Right.
Also, before we forget, because we didn't have an episode last week, Dak Prescott got fucking paid. He got paid. He made a lot of money last week.
Big bucks.
Yeah, big bucks. 4-year, $160 million. Not quite the Mahomes contract he was wanting, but still a good value for a good quarterback. I'm happy for him. I'm actually satisfied with the Cowboys organization for the first time in a long time for locking up your franchise leader, essentially. Zeke was not good last year. Did not play well with a kind of a banged-up offensive line. It was no quarterback help with Andy Dalton at the helm. To bring Dak back, I guarantee you it enhances Zeke's performance next season.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely happy for him. Still think it was still a bit overpaid, but nonetheless, I'm glad you got it. I'm glad. We've been sitting up here, hoping and praying that Dak gets this contract and, he finally gets it, which I mean, I know that you have to aim high to, to get what you want, but I hope he wasn't thinking that he was going to get anything close to Patrick Mahomes just off of, your record and how things have been transpiring in his career. But like I said, nonetheless, I think it's great. Now, as far as Ezekiel Elliott, I feel like, this is a time for him to, not only for him to get better, but there's going to be a little extra added pressure on there because now as good of a person that Dak is on the field, he's just as good off the field. He's a very likable guy. He has people on his side that helps him propel him into the future, which where he is now with getting this new contract. So a lot of people are probably not going to be so quick to jump the gun on Dak as they would for somebody else who's just not performing well in this season. And I think that would be Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, last year he had a problem with fumbling and, he's averaging 3 yards a carry. So, paying somebody as much money as he got, over 70 million, you will want to see that go up tremendously back to his Hall of Fame, his Hall of Fame road. So yeah, I think this year is going to be a definite challenge for him, but hopefully he's up for the challenges this offseason.
I think we're agreed. Intern Kev, any thoughts on free agency today?
I'm very excited that the Patriots made some moves. Not too excited about Nelson Aguilar because, brick hands. But like tight end move, like the defensive moves. That's pretty much it for that.
Kev, what do you think about the 49ers' chances of getting D Watt?
I think they're very low.
Hey, man, I can just count on both of you guys.
You can dream.
On that Patriot line.
Just
get everybody in the 49ers. We ain't getting nobody.
I did think it was very low chance that we were signing Cam Newton back, and we did. So maybe you do get your Deshaun Watson.
You know
what, Chris? Shoot for the moon, but aim for the star.
If they're trying to have in division trades with Odell Beckham, why wouldn't we do that with Russell Wilson?
Who knows?
Who knows, man? You never know. Well, I know for a fact you wouldn't because it's the same division, but I mean, like, it's okay. It's okay. Chris, any final thoughts on day one of free agency?
No, man. It was an exciting time. Like I said, 49ers, we got $30 million on free cap space. So if anybody is listening to this, Deshaun Watson, come out here, man, and we'll hook you up.
My thought: $70 million is a lot of money. We burned through that quickly. Quickly today, signing 6 to 7 people.
But it was worth it, though.
That remains to be seen. We signed a lot of guys that I do like, a lot of guys I don't like, a lot of contracts I didn't love, but with the players I did like. So it's going to be a combination of both, whether or not we'll see we overpaid some people. I think we probably did, but that's the nature of free agency. You end up overpaying for below average talent, and that's what ended up happening. So hoping I'm wrong on some of these guys I talked about, like Aguilar and Bourne and everybody, but we'll have to wait and see. Kevin, any final thoughts?
I'm curious. Do you think that we do anything in the draft for a quarterback?
See, this is a big question that's circulating around right now. And you're sitting at 15. Zach Wilson is gone. Trevor Lawrence gone, number 1. Justin Fields probably gone as well. They're probably all gone in the top 6, top 7. You got Mac Jones floating around the bottom top 10, maybe sliding down to the mid-teens there. And Trey Lance, who I think is very intriguing as well. At 15, you don't have a lot of options unless you want to trade up. I don't see him trading up. The Patriots never trade up. That's not who they are. That's who they are as an organization. But if he's there at 15, I would not be shocked if Trey Lance becomes a New England Patriot. He's the same archetype as Cam Newton. He really is. They play the same exact style of football. So what better way to bring Trey Lance into the NFL by having a mentor like Cam Newton, who's an MVP, Super Bowl champion type quarterback, not Super Bowl champion, but Super Bowl appearance champion, and everything. And so, I think it makes a lot of sense for Cam to mentor Trey Lance. They have similar play styles, and obviously Cam has been a big Bill Belichick guy in terms of the Patriot way. Give Trey Lance the ropes a little bit, show him how it's done, how to be professional, and how to deal with Bill Belichick. I think it'd be a definite move we could see happening. I think it's likely. I don't really know. It's tough to gouge right now so far outside the draft with no combine, but we'll have to wait and see. Stafford and Matthews, episode 25, now in the books. I want to thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys next week.